So it's been a week since Sea of Thieves launched, and people were wondering how well the game was doing, not only at retail and digital, but also on Game Pass, and if Microsoft would put out a PR touting its success. And sure enough, like clockwork, a week later, Microsoft is touting how well Sea of Thieves has done, and I want to break down everything that they mentioned in this PR piece. What is going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. And I know Microsoft PR can be kind of hard to decipher, and that's why I'm here, because I'm going to do it for you guys. I'm going to tell you all the pertinent information that is presented in this article. Now, if you guys don't know, Sea of Thieves came out last week on Xbox One and Windows 10, but it was also the first game for Microsoft to release in Xbox Game Pass for $10 subscription. It kind of changes the game for Microsoft. No longer do you have to go to retail or digital and pay full price for a game. With Microsoft first-party titles, you can basically get a subscription to Xbox Game Pass for $10 and play it like that. It's a pretty cheap option. Sea of Thieves is the first game to go into it, and State of Decay 2 will be the second, and presumably Crackdown 3 will be the third. But let's get into the PR, because this is written by Craig Duncan. He's thanking everybody for supporting their Sea of Thieves voyage. And it's this paragraph right here that is going to have a lot of people talking about on Twitter and elsewhere, and I've already seen a lot of misinformation floating around, so let's break it down. So it says, the worldwide excitement for Sea of Thieves has made it the fastest selling first-party new IP of the generation. Now, you notice that it doesn't really clarify if it's Xbox only, but presumably this isn't an Xbox website. I don't think they're talking about Sony or Nintendo. I doubt they would know what their games would sold in the first week. And when Microsoft normally in the past makes comparisons to their competition's sales, they use a third-party outlet, so it's kind of an unbiased source. That's why they use MPD or GFK and things like that. So they're strictly talking about Xbox only, and they're only talking about this generation. Now you might say, well, Rand, what new IPs has Microsoft launched this gen? 343's only done Halo, Coalition's only done Gears, Turn 10's only done Forza. And that's true. However, Microsoft considers any game it publishes, whether it's first party or second party, to be a first party game, which includes games like Rise Son of Rome, Sunset Overdrive, Ori and the Blind Forest, ReCore, etc., etc. So that is the comparison it's making. Sea of Thieves is the fastest selling first party new IP for Xbox this generation among all those games. And obviously, since it's only been out a week, they're probably just talking and comparing week 1 stats to week 1 stats. Now you might ask, hey Rand, what is the record holder for this gen for Xbox? And you would find out, if you searched, it would be Quantum Break. This article was written by Aaron Greenberg on April 14th of 2016, that Quantum Break became their biggest selling new Microsoft Studios IP for Xbox One. Right down here, officially the biggest selling new Microsoft Studio published IP this generation. So the previous record holder was Quantum Break. Okay, cool. So the game's doing well. It has a $60 version and a $10 version, and it's breaking records. Pretty good, considering that you can get this game for $10, and it already outsold all the Xbox games in the first week. Strong numbers, shows that it had a lot of interest in the title. However, people get confused with the next sentence, right? They go on to say, having witnessed more than 1 million players on launch day, our community continues to grow and now has more than 2 million players. Now, you will see a lot of people say that the 2 million players is the 2 million sales that they're talking about here in this first line about the fastest selling first-party new IP, but that is incorrect. Now, Aaron Greenberg did clarify that fastest selling IP does not include Game Pass, right? Now, what you're looking at here is that there are 2 million players playing Sea of Thieves right now after a week. 2 million players. Pretty impressive numbers, in my opinion. 2 million is a lot, especially in 1 week, and 1 million is a whole hell of a lot in 1 day. So that is the number of players playing in total, 2 million. Now, a chunk of that bought it at retail and digital for full price. And the chunk that bought it at full price is considered the fastest selling new IP. So there's a number within the 2 million that Microsoft sold that put it above Quantum Break for the fastest selling new first-party new IP for Xbox this gen, but they're not giving that number. The 2 million players that are playing the game is not sales. And if people go around saying that it is sales, and you do correct them, and they tell you like, hey, that's a you problem or whatever, just keep this in mind. Even Microsoft themselves don't consider Game Pass downloads or players as sales because they exclude it. Right here, fastest selling IP does not include Game Pass. So Microsoft themselves don't consider Game Pass downloads sales, which is why it's separated. So just a nugget for thought there. Now, interesting enough, the next line is pretty important. And it says that alongside this, Sea of Thieves is already the best-selling Microsoft Studios first-party title on Windows 10. And that would mean it sold more than Gears of War 4, more than Forza Horizon 3, more than Quantum Break or any other games that have come to Windows 10 since the Xbox Play Anywhere initiative. And just reading that PR piece, it's already the best-selling, which means it's already outsold Gears of War and Forza and all that stuff, which is pretty crazy to think about. So just remember this, 2 million players total. There's a chunk there that bought it, which makes it the best-selling new IP this generation from Xbox. And the people that bought it on Windows 10, they bought it in more numbers than Gears of War 4 and any other game on Windows 10. So that just shows that Sea of Thieves had a ton of interest in the game. 2 million players in a week is a lot, even though there is the Game Pass option. And honestly, I didn't think it would actually be the fastest-selling new first-party IP because of Game Pass. I thought a lot of people would go for the $10 option because this is a new IP. A lot of people are like, do I take the risk? Do I not? I thought a lot of people would go for that, but clearly people decided to buy the game full price in a way that, made it the fastest selling, although we don't know what Quantum Break sold, and Quantum Break is kind of considered a failure to some degree because they're not making a sequel and nobody ever talks about that game anymore. And well, there's no sequel to Rise and there's no sequel to Sunset Overdrive. So I'm not sure if those numbers, who knows what the numbers are? Microsoft's aren't giving them, but it is better than the other games came out this gen that we never saw sequels to and they never talk about. So just kind of keep that in mind. And of course, this wouldn't be a Microsoft PR piece without other kind of information, some that is useful and some that is there to kind of just fluff. They said that they had more than 100,000 players streaming Sea of Thieves since launch, resulting in more than 10 million hours just watched last week. And they want to thank everybody, the content creators in the community who watched and streamed Sea of Thieves on Twitch and Mixer. And it did reached the #1 spot on Twitch and Mixer a couple times during the past week. And I do follow the industry, and there are a lot of industry people out there that say, hey, Twitch numbers are an indicative parameter for success these days. Twitch numbers means that people are going to buy your game, apparently. That's what I've seen. They also talk about how more than 500,000 new Xbox Live friendships have been made through Sea of Thieves, and that over 400,000 people have joined an Xbox club to share their stories with. Now, the 500,000 new Xbox Live friendships is kind of an interesting stat. There is an emote that you can use to like wave at somebody or something like that, and it'll actually bring up an option to add as a friend. So, interesting stat there. And of course, this does give us a reason, or at least an understanding of how these server issues they had over the past week. If you may recall, a lot of people couldn't get in to play the game the day it launched and the day after and the day after that because, well, 1 million people trying to play the game in one day, it's going to happen. I know this game went above and beyond what people at Microsoft thought. They never thought it would reach this number, especially on day one. So they're completely surprised and overjoyed at the success that Sea of Thieves is seeing, and hopefully Rare is working hard to make sure that the servers are up and ready to go. And I know they did have some issues with Xbox Game Pass yesterday, but they seem to have fixed it. Now, of course, a lot of people are going to talk about the game itself. I did put out a review. I did give it a 7 out of 10. And while 2 million players is a ton, playing it in 1 week, it's up to Rare to make those players stay and play it for a long time. So it's down to Rare to provide content and meaningful updates to the game to keep people playing, well into April, well into May, well into June, July, so forth and so on. You don't want the 2 million people that played it after a week to just drop the game, and then a month from now, we're wondering why nobody's playing Sea of Thieves. But that's up to Rare and Microsoft to figure out, and not me. So anyways, that is the PR piece for Sea of Thieves. What do you guys think? Are you impressed that they sold, better than Quantum Break, the fastest news-selling IP for Xbox this gen? Is 2 million players in a week about what you expected? Is it more than what you expected? Is it less? Do you find it at least somewhat interesting, and actually, like I said earlier, that it did break the best-selling new IP this gen for Xbox, considering there is a $10 Game Pass option? I thought like that wouldn't happen because of that option, but clearly what this shows is that there was a ton of interest in Sea of Thieves, and maybe the success of the title being out on Game Pass will draw more users to Game Pass, despite some people not liking the game or liking the game a lot. It does shine a beacon on Game Pass as a viable way to consume entertainment for $10 a month, and we have State of Decay going in there in 2 weeks or 2 months basically. I wonder if State of Decay will see the type of numbers that Sea of Thieves has. Part of me says no, clearly not. I mean, this is Rare's first game since Connect Sports, and their first real game since like Banjo Nuts and Bolts back in like 2008, and people have been playing this game in the alpha for a year, so you kind of knew it would have at least some interest in the title. But then again, State of Decay 2 is the sequel to a 5 million seller on Xbox 360 with the Xbox Live Arcade, and it does have 4-player co-op, very multiplayer-centric, just like Sea of Thieves. So if one of your friend gets it and you want to play with them, you get Game Pass to get it. So I'm wondering how high the State of Decay 2 numbers will be. It's going to be interesting to track how Game Pass changes Xbox consumers' habit. Do they buy the game full price, like some did in Sea of Thieves, or do they go for the cheaper option with Game Pass and see how that kind of explodes, so to speak? But interesting numbers. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Hit the notification bell as YouTube changed their algorithm again, so you may not be getting notifications from me or seeing the video in your sub boxes if you're subscribed. So make sure you do that, share it out on Twitter, all that good stuff. And thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.